So I want to say this is maybe the second or maybe even the third year that we are talking about this guy in some sort of a quote-unquote change of scenery kind of way. Even though he is actually a pretty good player, and even though we actually have things to say that label him as one of the better players on his own team. You already know from the title, from the thumbnail, and from what you're looking at on the screen right now, today we're going over to the New York Rangers and talking about the second overall pick behind Jack Hughes in the 2019 NHL Draft. It is none other than Kaapo Kakko, and everything that's going on with him and the Rangers thus far. Right now, Kaapo Kakko, 23 years old, 6'2", 216 left-handed guy, is signed on till the end of 2024-2025, making $2.4 million a year. The contract was 3 years long, it was a bridge deal, and for what Kakko provides right now as a member of the Rangers, he is actually doing decently okay. He is on pace for 39 points over an 81-game sample, which would be tied with what he did in 2022-2023, wherein he had 18 goals and 22 assists on the full year. This year, he's got 14 points in 29 games right now, 4 goals, 10 assists, a really big bounce up from what he had accomplished last season, when everything was kind of going wrong and he wasn't really being used. There was a short stint where Kaapo Kakko, Cheadle, and that entire kid line was going. It was a pretty nice experiment for the Rangers, but last year things kind of took a turn for the worse. This is why I say we've been talking about the idea of Kakko getting moved for quite some time now, spanning back to a few years prior when you could debate that he wasn't really living up to expectations in, let's say, this area of his NHL career. He wasn't really producing much, and he wasn't really progressing much, but the year after, that's when things started to click for Kaapo Kakko, and things started to work out. The thing is, though, if you go over to the New York Rangers and you look at what's been going on with their team, this team is not really getting much out of the guys that you would expect to be carrying this team. I know plus minus is the damned stat, and nobody really likes it, but if you go over to plus minus, you'll see that the Cooley Kakko Cheadle line has been the best line in terms of this plus minus metric, and some of the worst players on the team are down here at the bottom. You have Artemi Panarin at a -6, Chris Kreider as a -4, Lafreniere as a -13, and Mika Zibanejad is a -15. It's not looking good for a lot of the top Rangers guys, and it gets even worse when you acknowledge that it was already revealed today Kaapo Kakko is going to get scratched in today's New York Rangers game against the Nashville Predators, which, by the way, the Rangers are the underdog according to all the betting odds. It's kind of ridiculous. This is why, if you go over to some of the latest tweets that have been posted, Molly Walker tweeted this out, quote from Kaapo Kakko, "I haven't been on the ice too much when the opponents score a goal. I haven't been the worst guy, but it's me, out of the lineup." He's not wrong. The Rangers have outscored their opponents 19-9, with Kakko on the ice at 5v5. And then some replies are going out there and saying, hey, on the other hand, the team is shooting at nearly 11% when Kakko is on the ice, and they're getting .950 goaltending too. So maybe there's a little bit of luck involved. Or, when he is on the ice, him and his line mates keep the dangerous chances against to a minimum. That would be more of a team thing, but if he's actually good defensively, that would really contribute a lot to it. I don't know all the advanced stats or anything, so I could be completely wrong. We add ourselves even more commentary, though, from Kaapo Kakko. He said he was frustrated and surprised by getting healthy scratch today. I think it's easy to pick the young guy and put him out. Do you know what would actually shake up the dynamic on this team? Scratching a veteran who deserves to be benched. That would prove that you need to provide to continue to play. I was curious to see how he's doing, and he's at a .5 points per game and second on the team with a +10. I know that's not a popular stat, but most forward stars on that team are heavy negatives. There are easily 4 to 5 forwards who should be scratched ahead of Kaapo Kakko, Jake McNaughton says. I assume he's a Rangers fan? No, it doesn't really say here. Anyways, this gets even more juicy when you look at the subreddit and you review some of the extra things that have been tossed out there over here. Kaapo Kakko on being healthy scratched, haven't been on the ice too much when the opponents score, yada yada yada. There also is the quote about it being easy to pick on the young guy. Direct shot at the head coach here. Does Kaapo Kakko need to talk to the Rangers before he goes back to see what they want from him? I'm not going to do that, he said. They're going to say if they have something to say, but I'm not going there. Number 24 was as dejected as I've ever seen him. Kaapo Kakko did not hide his frustration about being scratched. I was surprised. I know we're losing games, but I think it's just easy to take the young guy and put him out. That's how I feel. He said there hasn't been much communication beyond Lavi telling him he had to make a change. Kaapo Kakko doesn't think it's on him, the player, to initiate a conversation for more of an explanation. Kakko also spoke out on if it's frustrating that it's been a few times in this Rangers tenure that he has been singled out. Yeah, for sure. I can say the same thing all the time. The whole team is playing kind of bad, and I get that you gotta do something. I don't know, though. If I were the coach, I would do something also. I was just surprised that it was me at this point. That's wild. How long until he gets traded? 10 days or less, this poster goes out there and says. I don't know if they're being too honest about that, but still, Kaapo Kakko talk is really starting to boil down to an uncomfortable position, especially if you are Kaapo Kakko yourself. The kid deserves a trade, Zombie Jesus 83 says. This franchise has made him the whipping boy for far too long. Kreider a -4, Zibby a -15, Kakko a +10. The team has bleeding chances, and Kakko is one of your best, most defensively responsible forwards, and he's the one that gets scratched? Absolutely mind-boggling. As a fan, I'm just angry at the organization for the constant mismanagement and coddling Zibanejad has received for years. Let it burn. I don't see enough of the Rangers on a consistent basis. Is Kakko in a situation where he just doesn't get the ice time or the opportunities to put up better offensive stats? Or is he like Puljujarvi, where he consistently plays well defensively and puts up good analytical stats, but is hampered by his inability to finish? In my opinion, Kaapo Kakko has always been treated like crap. As a rookie, he was asked to play defense, which he sucked at. He was never built up, only torn down. He was never put on the power play, he was never moved above the third line, and whenever he did stand out, games with 2 goals or multiple points, he'd be benched for taking a penalty or something. That summer, he had learned how to play D and became one of the best defensive forwards on the team and was rewarded with nothing. He's been benched in the playoffs, he's been benched in the regular season. For some reason, when the team can't score 5v5, they punish arguably their best 5v5 player. I've never understood it. I still don't. Is he Wayne Gretzky? No. But he has more points than Kreider and Mika at 5v5 with almost half as much ice time and is a +10 versus Mika's -15. Wowzers, is things looking bad. That's crazy, man. I didn't realize that it was this lopsided in terms of overall 5v5 quality between Kaapo Kakko and the other top guys on the Rangers. And there's a huge disparity between how these guys are all being treated. Kakko is being treated like crap. The guy is the #1 target for, let's just say, scapegoating when things go wrong with the New York Rangers. And, I mean, there are a lot of people going out there and talking about him here too. There's another Rangers fan, mostly the latter. He is a solid teammate, he possesses the puck well, he's strong, and he's defensively one of the better forwards on the team. Sets it up, looks often, he's not just a scorer. This has been his best year for certain, with our season being in the tank already. I wouldn't be surprised if he was traded, because this is the highest his value has been since he started playing. I'd hate to see him go, but also would feel happy for him. He's got nothing but crap while he's been here. This was the most egregious, but certainly not the first example. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Kaapo Kakko and the entire situation right here? A lot of Rangers fans are saying this. I stand with Kaapo Kakko. This post has 300 upvotes. What are your thoughts about his future with the organization? Do you think he has a future with the organization, or is he going to get traded sometime soon? Kaapo Kakko has been great, but now he's getting scratched. Is it his fault? Probably not. But I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Where do we go from here? And where does Kaapo Kakko get traded to? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.